Now here's a great way to start off the day. Checking out all of that buffing that got done yesterday. Wow. If you only saw these parts in real life, and I'm hoping Luciano's going to be able to come down sometime soon, maybe even today. Check this out. This is just one. This is going to be one really nice cafe racer. And what a way to start the day. Wow. And believe me when I tell you, it looks better in real life than it does in these videos, especially if you're looking on a cell phone. And actually, I have nicknamed both of these bikes the Evil Twins #2, the Yamaha Evil Twins, because they are, that finished quality is almost identical on both of them. And boy, believe me when I tell you, in real life, this looks even better than it does. I've looked at it on my widescreen TV in high def. Wow. I'm not sure any other way you look at it, it shows. And the people that have seen it in real life have agreed with me. And maybe we'll add Luciano to that list today. I don't know. Now, I've got a lot of positive comments on those little A-Team videos that I've been digging up off YouTube and putting on the end of the videos. I'll see what I can come up with today. But I do like to include all the people and the honorary people from our A-Team. And we have had some fun together over the years. But we all know there's only one way to start the day off right. And I gotta brew up some more coffee here. Get motivated today. We have a very eclectic day ahead of us. So as I'm out changing battery chargers here, I wanted to get started early today because Luciano's definitely coming by to pick up his stuff. Polishing these parts is a bigger job than you think it is. And I do remember doing this 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and I remember how many little crazy angles and places, and you can see I actually never got it really polished nice up there. Well, that's not the case now. We're going to do a really good job. But this part of it is a lot more involved than you think it is. And I do remember that. All I do remember accurately is that took a lot longer than I thought it would. And this is why on most modern sport bikes, this is the R1 of course, they paint it flat black because it's a lot of work to polish it. Of course, no kidding. Now the old bikes with regular forks, I just love when you have that leg polished like that. I remember all of the older bikes from this era. That added such a nice touch. I just used to really love it. And modern bikes, they don't polish anything, just flat black cans of barbecue paint. When I did this Ninja, I painted them gold. I had extra gold paint because there's no way I could take it apart and get it anodized realistically. And I liked it, to be honest, I liked the way the paint looked better than the anodizing. And a beloved RD, the forks were in such rough shape that by the time I got all the sanding done, the only way to make them look decent was to paint them gloss black. Now notice, not flat black, gloss black. Now here's just one example right here. Here's the spare GS, polished forks, black forks, and our track bike. By the way, we had those original pictures of this bike. It was red in the beginning. Of course, it's got a lot of parts replaced. We got 3 good years of track days out of that bike, and it's got a great motor. The motor in there is one Luciano did one of his trick jobs on. That's a great motor, and it's the spare motor for the green bike. And yesterday I put that little snippet of when the last time the Jot was here, or one time he was here doing his tank bag review. These are his parts, and he actually learned how to paint, and he was very aggressive about it for about a year. We enjoyed his company, and boy, I hope he gets back on the program here. See, here's the whole thing. Once you join the A-Team, it's like joining the Mafia. You don't ever get out. You can't get out. You can't go and become a golfer or a bowler or something. Once you join the A-Team, you have to stick with motorcycling. But anyway, I'm going to try and look through my, we have 1,400 videos out there. Look for some old snippets of, try to include everybody too, and I'll put them at the end of the video, so for people are not interested in that, they can just skip by it. But we really, one of our goals is to include some old footage of everybody that's been on the A-Team, the fabulous A-Team. What a load of fun we had. Now I brought the original parts out here to, while I'm waiting for Luciano to get here, he's already left his house. I wanted to look at these. See, these, they are definitely, they have a coating on them. And I do remember from doing these, this was such a lot of work. And I want to straighten out some of the casting marks on here. And so what I'm going to do is just, this is going to be a labor, everything we do is a labor of love. But it isn't just a thing of you run over and get your electric drill with a buffing wheel and go and it's done. We're going to try to take this to the next level, and I'll try to share the information for doing this kind of a part. It's a lot of labor. Maybe it's something you want to do on your machine. And the good news is, because I've already done it before, I'm not unrealistic about how much work is involved. And this is always the thing I look at. Would I rather have that on my bike or that? I had even thought about painting these gloss black, but you know, with the way this winter is playing out, we're so far ahead on this restoration that summer's a good 2 months away. So I'm going to for sure be doing a lot of extra little details that I really didn't know if I'd have the time to do. No matter how you look at it, I look at it over and over again, it's going to be worth the time we put into it. It's always worth it. Always. And the biggest shame is always when you finish your restoration, summer comes, you take the bike out, and then you look at, wow, why didn't I polish that bolt? Why didn't I straighten that out? Why didn't I replace that? Or whatever you do. Because once a restoration's done, you've got the bike for the rest of your life. It's a new bike when you're done. Now, if you can only do that with your body, but I can only replace the joints. Anyway, just beside the point. Luciano will be here soon. I got to make sure the coffee's brewing. And oh boy, I look at this bike the other day when we put the footage out when this was a red bike and how it is now. I love doing these restorations. Now, I also hope, I've been communicating with our friend Scott out in Colorado, and I hope he's going to be inspired and share his adventure with us, and we'll try to help him every step of the way, of course. But it's always, keep in mind all these things, it's always an adventure, it's a learning experience, and at the end of it you usually have a pretty cool bike. So it'll be interesting when Luciano gets here to see how he likes his cafe racer job. And he's bringing the shocks for the RD, so looking forward to seeing his reaction on how he likes the job. Come on down! Luciano just got here for the big reveal. I hear him upstairs talking to Karen. Time for the big reveal. Time to collect the money for this job. He's going to write me a check on ice and pay me in the summer.
Comes from China.
From China? We don't buy China stuff, only from Italy. Hey!
Did you order salty for China?
No, from China. I don't buy China stuff. Hey, check your bike. I want to see your smile on your face.
Oh, God.
Come on, come on. Look at that. Is that good?
It's perfect.
It's better than.
Wow.
What Italian bike manufacturer can paint like that?
Your FZR
Maybe it's better.
Are you sure you paid this or maybe somebody else?
I sent it out.
It is
the local body shop.
Gorgeous.
Does that look good? That's going to look nice when you put it. When are you going to put this all together? You going to have it together in the next couple of days?
The back runs, I'm waiting for the front brake line. It takes forever from freaking China.
From China, yeah. You shouldn't buy stuff from China. Chinese food doesn't even come from China.
I'll be ready.
Okay, when it's all together, I want you to take some pictures.
Yeah.
How's that look?
Oh, wow.
Nice, right?
Yeah. You can't make any better than that.
No. Now this, I had to take the paint off because when you turn the key, a big piece is going to come up. I think that'll be fine. Yeah. But we can always repaint that.
It looks nice with the chrome.
Yeah. That's no extra charge.
Oh, okay. You forgot to take the tip off.
No, that's your job. Now, I got a great idea we could do with these. I was thinking of this. Karen has, if you have another set.
It's a different set.
Oh, it's different. I was going to take the gold and push it in here and then wipe it off. It's called rub and buff. And then the gold would stay in that little groove. But only if you want to do it. If you don't care, I mean, you're not that fussy of a guy.
Let me see.
See, you got to decide.
It looks nicer like this.
Okay, that's less work for me.
Yeah, yeah. So,
but we do have the.
You don't get paid for this.
I'm going to jack the price up. This little groove would be gold.
Yeah.
You know how when you put on wood, a wood stain?
I did it more than enough.
Yeah.
Trust me. That's perfect.
You're right, I did more than that. I stayed up all night doing this for you.
Did you guys the check already?
Yes, it was on ice, and when I went to get it, the coffee machine melted it.
It looks nice.
Hold that there. Yeah, that's going to look nice.
Yeah, yeah. It's beautiful.
And you could always buy a set. They still have these in stock, I'm sure.
Most well, yeah, from China, yes.
Yeah, from China, the fake things. That looks nice, though. That's going to be great.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. So let's see the shocks. These are the shocks for the RD?
You can open it. Yeah.
Okay, let me open up. I caught them.
The middle one, that is our boy.
I looked inside and I told him, oh good, we got 3 shocks.
I never saw like 2 shocks.
And did you bite on it? Yeah, he says, oh yeah, the 3 shocks. 1, 2, 3.
No extra charge for that.
Oh, no extra. What do I do with the third one? Put on my car? Oh yeah. No, that's the reservoirs, I know. Boy, they look nice. That's unbelievable.
It comes with the bunch adapters.
Yeah, the bushings. Yeah, but you got a lathe. We could make anything.
Yeah,
bushings. There's
absolutely.
no problem.
Well, there are fades.
That's an important tip. If you buy one of these shocks, now look,
you can cut yourself.
Look, and this is CAD plated, of course. You could shave with that tool.
Yeah,
it's so sharp.
From this side is very sharp.
Because they stamp it. The stamp goes, and that the bottom where the stamp comes out. Oh my God, that's like a razor blade.
I know.
Yeah, you could cut stuff with that. It's look at that.
Oh, you can pull your denture off.
Yeah. Yeah, this is good. You know what these are good for too? If you got hemorrhoids. All right, come on, don't mess up my shop here with this garbage. Let me see those shocks. Paying top dollar for these shocks. Oh, they look beautiful. Oh, they're going to look so good on my RD. Oh, I bet Ray's going to buy a set of these too. Yeah. Ray?
So you got... Okay,
wow, they look nice.
They give you 4 bushes.
Yeah, they give you the extra bushings. Okay.
Different sizes. Yeah.
Yeah, but we could make the bush.
In case that no one fits, I can make some.
The problem with the RD is this side. You got to.
You can push this out.
Yes, with the GS, the bottom is.
Yes, I know.
You got to have the fork. Yeah, it's different. But I saw they had them out there. If these work out great, ooh, I love the way that looks.
So.
Wow, nice.
You should.
Yeah, of course. Don't scratch them, please.
I'm not going to scratch it.
I know.
Okay.
I've done this
it's
before.
all the way to the top.
Yes.
Put a little dot paint.
Yes, a good tip. Yeah, so you know how many clicks you went from each side.
I would say easy 2 turns.
Yeah, you do ride the bike 1 turn at a time. Because if you don't have a dot, you don't know how many clicks you put it in.
All right.
Yeah, that's a beautiful set of shocks. Yeah. Wow. Wow, you're a good friend. Wow. Look at that.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to me.
I'm Jewish. What are you giving me this? Happy Hanukkah. The hell with Christmas. Look at this.
So we gave a present to each other.
Yeah, that's a nice friendship. Look at that. Wow. In real life, these really look nice. It's amazing. It's amazing to me that they can make such a good copy of something. Yeah. I wonder what brand of shock they copied.
Oh, you want to hear something funny? The carbon fiber exhaust I got from...
Yes.
Just found out they make one exactly the same. Not exactly the same. Is 10 millimeters longer.
Oh.
So it means less noise.
Yes, it'd be quieter.
So I ended up buying that one for $30. It came with the Ankropovich sticker.
I wouldn't be surprised if Akropovic made them in China and then they put their sticker on. Of course. Wow, that is really a nice set of shocks.
You can put this way or upside down.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, because you're under pressure. It's under pressure.
Yeah, but then the letters are
Oh, I'll take the stickers off and put Windy Shocks by Windy there. We'll make fake stuff, no problem. Yeah, it would look probably the best if you could read the writing. Well, you bought the Ducati decal with it. The thing on the gas cap was backwards.
The guy from China, too much to drink.
He was drinking sake or whatever the hell they drink over there. So there you go. You gonna be happy with those Yamaha emblems?
You get the check I left.
I got the check. Yeah, I'm choking on it right now.
Gosh, next year.
Did you have enough coffee? I bet you got to go to the bathroom, huh? So the final deal here is if he ever scratches this bike, or if a bug ever flies on it, or if he didn't check this for leaks and it leaks, then murder might be legal in New Jersey. Just want to take a picture of this. There's really no sun out today as such, but look at my table. It's the color of the tank. Boy, that was a true labor of love. And I think that we're going to get to see that cafe racer in a few days. I'll make a little pilgrimage up to his house. We always enjoy having a cup of coffee up there. So thank you, Luciano, for a generous donation to the RD restoration project of next year, which we haven't even started the project yet. We have the shocks. If I have a time next week and it's a little warmer outside, I'm going to install these. They give you extra bushings. And by the way, for reference, these come from eBay. A set of shocks and the bushings and the wrenches together are $45. That's incredible to me, how cheap that is. But anyway, and I know these work good. He's had them on other motorcycles, so he had them on his RD, in fact, and they work great. So, and they're fully adjustable, and you get 2 razor blades disguised as wrenches. So first thing I'm going to do is run over to the bench, run these on a belt sander, so I don't chop my fingers up. But that's an incredible find. I think that's a great deal. And it'll look, if nothing else, it'll look a lot nicer than the shocks, the old original RD shocks. I actually have 3 sets of shocks for the bike and 3 extra sets of springs, and I've kind of settled in on the right combination. But if I have to, I could always replace these springs with the ones that are on the bike. And I have a set of yellow springs that were supposed to be some high-tech stuff that never worked out. And a good deal for 45 bucks. That's good information from eBay. Thank you, Luciano. Now, this really isn't that funny. If you weren't paying attention and you squeezed on that, that is really... This is sharper than a Harbor Freight razor blade. But anyway, let me just show something. And what's even better than that, that's actually fine. Just rub a little sandpaper or something on there, because the day you forget it, and you put, believe me, these things sometimes you have to really press on them, you'll cut yourself. So that's a nice little tip to do that. So I have a little time left today. Don't have a lot because we spent a lot of time socializing, but I have never known, I have always suspected, but I don't know for sure. In the back side, this is the front side, this is the side you see. But in the back side, there's a threaded, it looks like a set screw, and I assume what that set screw does, that's there to hold this piece in place on the leg, keep it from coming out, I guess. That might be, I might be right, I might be wrong. Of course, I haven't taken one of these apart. Vince has, Luciano has, but I just looked at that, and what I did, I put a little brake parts cleaner in there because I wanted to see what kind of a wrench. Maybe it's a special wrench. I don't even know. It looks like a set screw. It's just for my own knowledge anyway. But anyway, while I have the brake part cleaner up, I want to do a little test. And this is what I'm going to put on the video in the next couple of minutes is really critical information. It's that thing I always say, information it's worth watching a whole video for, because this is information I've learned really the hard way. Now, just to make some basic 101s, on my channel there are 2 or 3 or 4 Flitz video product tests. That would be worth watching if you really want to polish some aluminum, but I have this test piece that I made during the Flitz video of what things looked like when we started with aluminum. We started with, and I don't remember because I didn't look back yet, and then we did some compounding, and then we did some Flitz, and of course after the Flitz it was much more shiny than before the Flitz. But I don't want to repeat that test, but here's the point. I saved this just to show people that want to learn how to polish aluminum, and maybe some of this applies to the steel. First thing you have to understand, aluminum comes in a lot of different grades. The softer the aluminum, it'll polish quickly, but it tarnishes quickly. The more 20, 24, 60, 61, 70, 75, those grades of aluminum that are machinable, Those grades of aluminum are a little more difficult to polish to make it like a mirror, but they stay shiny longer. So the stuff you buy in Lowe's, which is really soft aluminum, it polishes by itself with Brillo, but it doesn't stay polished very long. What helps is putting the flits on. Now, I haven't touched this in probably a year, 6 months or a year, and you can see the flits protected it. It's still shiny. It's sitting in a damp cellar. It has no corrosion on it, and so and this is the part that has no flits, if I remember right. But anyway, all beside the point. The point is, different grades of aluminum polish differently. Here's the problem we're going to have. We're polishing a casting. A casting is usually relatively difficult to polish. It requires a few tests. So we're just taking a random stab in the dark that we'll see how 1000 grit paper is going to work on this. Now the objective is, and I'm always trying to make it as easy as possible. The objective is when I'm polishing aluminum, first I know there's a coating on here of some kind. This is not aluminum. It's got a some kind of a coating on it because I can't get down through the aluminum. So I want to see what it's going to take to get down through the coating. Now, it won't matter because in the beginning we can take rougher grades of sandpaper, but I want to see what grade it's going to take to finish the job. So I'm just taking a spot at random. Again, this is just my own test. There's a lot of different ways to do this. You can just go over to the buffing wheel and use 4 sticks of compound to do the same thing. But I want to see how long it's going to take to get down through the coating. And let me get a paper towel here. Nothing real scientific here. It looks like, and I'll show this on a close-up, it looks like 1000 grit takes this coating, casting coat, it's a casting of course, takes the coating off. Now the advantage of doing it with 1000 grit, it's not going to leave a lot of scratches. The objective is to do this leaving as few scratches as possible. If I were to use 600, it'll come out quicker, but the problem is it's going to leave scratches. So, especially on the parts I'm going to see, I don't want to leave scratches. So now it tells me 1000 grit looks like it's going to be just fine. I won't know yet because what I want to do is I want to see if I can make a little tool to go on the end of my little vibration sander. So if I can make a tool, I don't know because I don't have any 1000 grit paper, but I want to see if I can somehow improvise and make that. But in the worst of all worlds, if I can't, I'll do the whole thing by hand and just conveniently deal with it. So if you look at that, let me show it up close. No camera cuts, no fancy stuff. You can see I've gone through and I am into aluminum. But that coating, because it's a casting, the coating is down in there. Now if I were to run that little spot on a buffing wheel, you'd see it comes right up. Perfect. So that now the choices are, I can do it all by hand or I can make up several little tools. One will look like a dowel to get around here, around here, around here. Or I can try to make up, again, I'm going to try to make up that little pointed sander that I have to try to get in here and see if that's going to work. But I want to ultimately wind up, when I'm all done removing this material, with 1000 grit paper. That's what that's telling me. 1000 grit is going to work out fine. Now I know this tool would be great if I could buy these with 1000 grit paper. When I went to the typical places I do business with, Lowe's, Home Depot and stuff, they went down, but they didn't go to 1000 grit. And this, if I were to sand it with this and just run that on there, it would take this off instantly, but it would leave scratches I have to take out. By using 1000 grit, it's not going to leave the scratches. It's going to take a little longer. So my goal was, and because this has Velcro on the back, I thought what I'd try to do is glue this with hot glue to a piece of 1000 grit paper and trim it off. And just see, it's an experiment. Not sure it's going to work. If it doesn't work, see, I have, this is funny, not funny really. I have a whole bucket of these things with all these the hook and loop things. But they go 80 grit, 120 grit. I want 1000 grit. So I'm going to have to make my own. At least until I guess you could find this online or something. But as long as it's going to be a little experiment, a little challenge, maybe something you can use. I don't know. And if it doesn't work, it'll save you some time doing it. That is the kind of stuff, it's butchery for sure. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm always willing to try something. And because I have a lot of this, I always say I save the used sandpaper just for such a thing. I don't know if this is going to work, but when you do things that if you try them and they don't work and you're not out 50 bucks or something, it's a lot more fun than when you try things and when they don't work, you got to pay. So I'm just gonna, this is just, I think, more for fun than anything, but this will just make my job. I actually could do the whole thing by hand, I'm sure. That wouldn't be a big deal at all. But I've thought about this for a lot of reasons. Is when I'm done sanding, these little Velcro pads always have a little bit of material on them. And hot glue is always a good way to do this. And if it works, I'll basically have an unlimited supply of these things. And I just hot glue up. And I could make some that were, you know, different grits and different whatever. Again, and if it doesn't work, I'm not going to be out. And I guess that's part of the thing that I enjoy about doing a restoration. You always have to make some kind of tools or something along the way. There's always some part of it that's tricky. And actually, to be honest, that's why I watch a lot of YouTube videos, because there's a lot of people that are a lot trickier than me, that's for sure. Now the trick will be, see, this Velcro's on, plug it in, and then I'll move it so I get this corner, move it to this corner. I'll get 3 shots at seeing if this works. And when you experiment, to be honest, it looks like it's going to work. Now, I don't know how much. Now notice, here's the, I didn't do the side that we're going to see. This is the back that you're not going to see. So I can experiment around with different grits. I'm going to do one up with 600, do one up and just practice on the back of this. Because this, I know, I can go right over to the buffer and this will buff right up with 1000 grit. I don't know about 600, but I can make up one of these little things off camera. I can make one up for any grit. And then, see, otherwise I would have to buy a pack of this and a pack of that and a pack, and it's, by the time you're done, it's 50 bucks. And then you don't use any but the one. This way I can infinitely adjust. And by the way, you can just stick that in water because it's wet and dry. I don't know if they even make these wet and dry. So I found in my stash for the sandpaper I have for this tool, I have 50 grit. That's going to leave scratches you can't believe. You'll be sanding forever. I've got 240, I've got 120, I've got 80, what is this, 240 again. But the thing that's important is I always save the old pieces. Who knows why, what was going on in my brain. But now I get a chance to see if this works. Now, it could be I could save myself a lot of time. Look on the internet and find some 240 or some, I'd like to find, I'm going to try some 600 next. Because once I hit on the grit that takes that off, and I can just... So now I've got a bunch of these hot glued up. And now an example of why this would be a good thing to try in my case, because if it turns out these are all 600 now, if 600 is the way to go, then I'll go out to the internet and I'll look and see if I can buy packs of 600 wet or dry. But even if I can't, this allows me to do a lot of testing without spending a lot of money. And the hot glue, of course, is a staple in our house because Karen was doing craft projects for a whole life with glue guns. Okay, so this, I wanted to try 600 and see if this is going to be of any value. The nice thing is, of course, it's all wet and dry. The 600 should take it off a little quicker. And I can tell you the one thing that I made the mistake many times. It looks like the 600 is just as good, so we can go to 600 now. I'll make some more pads up 600. Why I'm doing this, and it's all on the back, this part you're never even going to see in case I go through. Because once you run this on a wire wheel or anything that's going to put scratches, now you not only have to get rid of more aluminum, but you've got to dig more aluminum away, but you've got to get rid of the scratches to have that nice polish. This looks like, and to be honest, I ought to try some 400 here. This is what I always do. This is my philosophy. Find the edge, go a little bit further. Oh, that's too rough, come back. But I'm not sure 400 wouldn't work. I'm not sure you can't buy these 400, but for sure another advantage of this, if these were 400, I'm on a double thickness here, so it's like having a sanding block, and I could just dunk the tip in water. Now, doing it with this tool, it's not really heavy labor. Like when you're sanding by hand, it's labor. An example is doing all that wet sanding on Luciano's tank was a labor. See how quick that comes off? Now, what's nice about it too, not only does it come off, but I don't have a lot of scratches to deal with. So I would rather sit here with this part and spend a couple hours just sitting here. I could be watching TV or something. And then all these little areas that I can't get, I'm going to have to get by hand. Because before I go to buff it, I don't want to see any casting marks. I don't want to see any casting flaws. Especially on the parts I'm going to see. On this part, there's a line right down the middle and blah, 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 blah. But whatever time I spend on this, and there'll be a considerable amount of time, I'll learn something along the way. I think this might be a usable trick we can use in the future. And I won't know until I do a whole part. And no matter how many power tools you have, whatever, in the final analysis, the last little bit, this is a soft sanding, it's a nail file. And it seems like the bottom line is the end of it, you've got to get in all the corners and angles and edges and everything by hand. Not a big deal, but the machine did quite a bit. This did. Now, I'm really happy for one thing. I realize anything rougher than about 600, and I did try some 400, it left really deep scratches. Now, I don't mean that we can't get out, but I think for our purposes, 600 is what I'd like to have in the final analysis. See, now what this allows me to do is get down in all these little edges. And of course, now polishing this out on a buffing wheel, and then we have an electric drill with attachments. But this is the side you're not going to see. So I was just using this as my test piece and seeing how this is going to work out. But what's happening, we're at the end of our work session here, and what's happening, I will at least tonight think about how I want to do the final polish on the part you're going to see. This whole part here is just an experiment. This whole side you don't even see. But I've learned the coating that's on here, you've really got to get that off. You're not going to polish that coating. That coating is like, I don't know, so many mils thick, and if you don't get it off, you can just be here all day and it'll never get shinier. Once you get it off and you're into raw aluminum, this is a very good quality aluminum, by the way. I think it's going to buff up just beautifully. But we've done all our homework today, and I think we learned what we need to learn. And I don't want to ever be tempted. You know what I'm doing? I'm going that way, now I'm going to the other corner. I never want to be tempted, especially this time of the year, to rush anything that I could make a little bit better. I don't want to force things at the end of the day and try to do something that I really need a separate day to do. Now, what I'm going to try to do is the next work day that I'm able to work, I'm going to devote, now see, because I've learned what I need to know. So now, the actual doing of it, I'll make up some of those sanding pads off camera. And it looks like You could even start with 400, I guess, and then use the 600 to get out the scratches. But the bottom line is not much rougher than 400, or you really wind up with a problem. You wind up with something you really don't want to have. Now, since this is a test piece, and of course it's got the scratches from the sandpaper on it, now the next thing is to go over to the buffing wheel and see if, in this case, what we'll try is the black compound, the roughest compound first, then possibly the red and maybe the white. We'll do a little experiment with that. The idea is get everything that we need to know on this side that we're not going to see, so that when we go to see this, we go to do this side, we'll have all these materials, all these sandpapers that we want to use, all this little stuff in our repertoire, and then we'll be ready to finish off these 2 fork legs in one session. Now the final little thing I want to do is just run a soft wheel over this. This is going to show me how this aluminum is going to buff up. Now, you have to remember, this is always the part to remember. This is the side we're not even going to see. Which side? I always think, which side would you rather have on a motorcycle? I don't know. And again, it's all in the eye of the beholder anyway. But I really do like having polished parts that are easy to clean after a long ride. I always think just adds a little custom touch. And the reality is, this really costs no money at all. It's just labor. And I've tried many times to put all of the techniques that I've used to polish aluminum on video. Some of these are going to be on the next video, or the next time we get to work on a session, and that could be unpredictable. Polishing aluminum, a skill worth having. And there's a couple of nice things. It adds a really nice personalized custom touch, as do the painted wheels. And it really costs you almost no money. To be honest, I really do like polished parts on the motorcycles. So today's little project, we got that side done. We've got the side we're going to see, which will be even more detailed. And again, we never know when we're going to get a full work session, a half a session. Doesn't matter, we're not in any rush. But that aluminum did polish up very nicely. There's a lot of other videos on the channel that show how to polish various things. And this will just add one more detail touch. And this is the side, we're not going to see it. So by doing all that experimenting, the next 3 sides, there'll be a piece of cake. I'm not sure about that. But anyway. Hey, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll put a minute or two of some of our favorite A-Team memories. And we always try to include all of the adventures we've had. So again, hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.
Yeah. Look at it, see? It's
now we're all at Bob's house. This is Bob's first shop work day. And he's got this bike that he got for free, and we're trying to clean it up for him a little bit.
Yeah.
We got all of the special customized tools. Some of the world's top mechanics.
Woo! Yeah.
Some of the world's top everything here, but we don't know what they're the top of.
Oh! Top from the bottom up. There you go.
Hey.
That's just another half.
Ducati service, there you go. Now Chip Foose called us up and he said, would you like to be overhauled, Bob? Bob, do you want to be overhauled?
Yeah, I've been over.
Where's Chip Foose when we need him? Holy crap.
He's good. Chip
Yeah,
Foose. You ever
yeah.
watch that show?
You know what
I love it.
His spur.
We got Chip Foose Luciano, Chip Foose Jose, Chip Vince, and our star of our show, the man who cleans anything. Look at those wheels.
Yeah, baby.
Look at that rear end. Oh, look at this.
I'll clean anyone's rear end.
Luciano just did the carbs.
And take you up on that.
Very soon we're gonna try to get it started.
All right, I'm taking this ground off up here.
Vince is doing some electrical work. Chip Foose is back here.
It's a small ground. Look, here's one ground that goes to the engine.
Oh, they've done that. Once you're done, they do double. It's redundant. There's no reason.
But that's a bad ground going up to there.
Now the one thing Bob does have going for him, he's got a heated garage.
That's one of the things I do.
the only reason we're here.
You bet.
7 degrees outside, and we
It really is 7. Maybe we should look outside and see. Well, it definitely is. This is not Florida, guys. Hey. But anyway, we decided to, and Bob's got a VFR, a bunch of dirt bikes. There's an apartment above this, and we have the 6 of the most highly qualified mechanics in the world. Well,
Praise there, boy.
well, I don't know if that's exactly true, or
at least on this block.
I'm turning into Obama here.
We're the most highly qualified on this
Oh yeah.
on the block we're doing.
Oh my God.
Here's another lane ground. We might want to replace that. Where's this guy going? This is going into the main.
And this guy's up into the fuse box.
Well, no, he's right below.
Luciano is not hanging himself.
Right there.
Ah! Luciano commits suicide in the middle of the job. Oh my God! Oh, give him a big hug. He's in for the stay. Here at the women's prison. The women's prison. They're oh man. Anyway, we're making some progress. We're using gallons of simple green. This is the high point. Bob's wife graciously made us cookies. It looks like, I don't know, there's coffee here, Dunkin' Donuts.
You have coffee there, you said?
Wow, there's dirt bikes everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a bicycle.
Yeah, there's a pot over there, and there's some over here. Grab the pot first.
Hey Bob, how you doing on wire? Do you have anything as big as 10 like this?
Anyway, this is a tradition we started at my house maybe 3 years ago with having guys over to work on bikes, and it's been so popular. I've been put out of business. They don't even need me anymore.
See that moving in there?
Anyway, this is a lot of fun. And it's fun getting together in the middle of the winter with our friends.
Yeah, you got a bike right there.
Right here.
And maybe even get this bike running today.